guys, welcome to today's class, and in this very video we are going to be talking about the blood, and that is simply because we are going to be discussing blood disorders in days to come. So to understand the blood disorder, you have to understand what the blood is itself. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. Hi guys. Yeah, welcome back. Now, talking about the blood. So, the blood. Cool. Now guys, you see, if you want to understand the blood, you have to ask yourself some questions. So, first of them all, where do you think the blood comes from? What does it look like? What is it made up of? What is its function? Now, the most important question of all, where does this blood come from? Now, to answer the question, you see, I'm human now, to the glory of God. So looking at me now, if someone pierced me with a sharp knife, even needle, some kind of fluid will start oozing out. And the question is, where are those fluids? Where are they coming from? From that, we understand the fact that human beings are just a combination of bones, meat, and some kind of blood, which is the fluid. And during an accident, so if someone loses a lot of blood, the person is going to die. That's telling you that the fluid is actually important. And it can run out of your body. As in, it can get used up. You can finish it. Now the point is, so if they can finish up, it means they are being produced from somewhere. And that can give you the clue to where they come from. And now, to answer that question, let's take a look at one structure of the human body, and that is the bone. Now, let's take the humerus, for example, although we do not have to draw the real diagram of the humerus, just the bone. Now, we have a bone right here. Now guys, you see, this is a typical long bone in the human body. And for this long bone, it has some things called the bone marrow. And now, if it has something called the bone marrow, we have mainly two types of bone marrow. You see, within this bone, this part has a cavity. And this cavity is called the medullary canal. Medullary what? The medullary canal. And apart from that, we have some kind of what? We have some kind of holes at this upper end. So, the lower end as well, it has some hole inside it. I won't be dwelling much on what forms this hole. Talking about the trabeculae, the cancellous bone, I want to assume you know that from the skeletal class. If you don't know about that, just forget about it. You will still understand the blood very well before the ending of this class without having that knowledge. Now the point is, you see, here, this guy, you can refer to this guy, this part, as the what? As the cancellous part of the bone. So the cancellous bone. So we also call it the sponge actually. So you can call it the spongy bone as well. So spongy bone tissue. So spongy bone tissue. You see the spongy bone tissue and the cancellous bone tissue, they mean exactly the same thing. Now the point is, you see, inside this medullary canal, we have some things there. And that thing is actually called, I won't like to use the red for this. So, we have some things called the yellow bone marrow. Yellow what? Yellow bone marrow. So, if that is the yellow bone marrow, that's the type of the bone marrow that we have in the human body. But what about the second? The second is called the red bone marrow. And the red bone marrow can be found. Apologies. The red bone marrow can be found inside this place. So inside the cancellous bone tissue. So you have the what? You have the red bone marrow. So guys, you see, this red bone marrow, it has a cell inside it. So it has a what? A cell inside it. So we have a cell inside this red bone marrow. Now this cell, they are called the hemocytoblast. Hemo what? Hemocytoblast. And that is their name. But the question is, why are they called hemocytoblast? Let's take a look at the linguistic meaning. We can divide these into hemo, cyto, and blast. When you say hemo, it refers to the word blood. And when you say cyto, it means cell from the word cyte. And blast means forming. So when you say hemocytoblast, it means the blood forming cell. That is a cell that forms the blood. That is why they call it a blood forming cell. Hemocytoblast. So this hemocytoblast is the one responsible for forming what now? For forming all the blood cells. As simple as that. I hope you understand. So now, if this guy is the one responsible for producing the blood, how do you think it performs that function? Now, we said, where do the blood come from? And I think the answer is pretty clear right now. So the blood actually comes from the red bone marrow by a cell called what? Hemocytoblast. Apart from that, in some other textbook, they can call this hemocytoblast the pluripotent stem cell. Pluripotent stem cell. As simple as that. So that's another name for it. So don't be surprised when you see someone telling you it is also called the pluripotent stem cell. Now, how do you think this guy becomes the mighty blood that we used to see whenever we get punctured? Now, this is the point. If you want to define the blood, you can just say it is connective tissue surrounded by a liquid matrix. Now, the point is, what is the meaning of the definition? Forget about it for now. You will soon understand. Now, let's take a look. Let's say this guy here is the hemocytoblast. For example, let's pick our hemocytoblast here. This is the hemocytoblast. Hemocytoblast. This hemocytoblast, primarily, it's used to divide into two cells. And the first cell is called the myeloid stem cells. Myeloid what? Stem cells. And then it can divide into something else called the lymphoid stem cells. As simple as that. Now you see, both the myeloid stem cells and the lymphoid stem cells, they are going to be the one to divide into all the blood cells that you know. Now, it means the myeloid stem cell is going to become the red blood cell. So, these two guys as well, they're going to become the white blood cells. White what? Blood cells. So, and still, collectively, they're going to become the what? The platelets. The platelets. And guys, remember, if we are talking about the division of blood, or the component of the blood, normally, if they ask you, what are the components of the blood? It means what makes up the blood. You see, the blood is made up of mainly two things. So, the first one is the plasma. The plasma. And the second thing is the what? The blood cells. Or you call it the formed element. Formed what? Elements. As simple as that. These two guys are the components. The components of what? Of blood. So, when they pinch someone or someone loses his or her blood, so that red structure you're looking at, that red liquid, is made up of what? Blood cells and what? And the plasma. Now, let me explain this so you can get it better. So, to get it better, the point is that this blood is made up of some kind of liquid, and that liquid is this plasma. And it is made up of blood cells. And the blood cells are the red blood cell, the white blood cell, and the platelets. Now, if these blood cells collectively, if all these guys, if they are formed by this precursor called the hemocytoblast, the question is, what forms this liquid, this plasma then? Remember, in the body of a human, so in our body, all this blood that we're talking about, this blood is running somewhere. So, and where it is running, is actually called the blood vessels. So we have three main types of blood vessel, but that's the discussion for what? For some other time. So the blood is running inside this place called the what? The blood vessel. Now the point is, this blood vessel, the fluid that these cells are going to be suspended in is there. But it comes from where? You see this plasma guy we're talking about? The person that forms it is that mighty organ in the human body called the liver. So the liver is the one responsible for forming what? For forming the fluidy part of the blood, which is what? Plasma. So the liver is going to ooze out the what? Is going to ooze out the plasma into the what? Into the bloodstream. And the plasma, the color of the plasma is actually yellowish. So yellowish. So straw-like. So that's old straw we used to use, not the customized straw nowadays that has different colors, can come in blue, red, you just pick anything you want, even white. So the point is, the straw-like color that is yellowish, that is what this plasma looks like. And an objective question can ask you like, what's responsible for giving the plasma its color? It is because when the plasma is being formed inside the liver, it mixes with a little bit of bilirubin. Bilirubin. And bilirubin is a component of bile. So if you do not know that, forget about it for now. Just know that bilirubin is the one responsible for giving the plasma its color. Now, the fluid, the plasma itself now, let's use the numerical for it. So the plasma is already here now. You see all these white blood cell, red blood cell, all these platelets. When they are being formed by these hemocytoblasts, they're going to pass through all these stages. And when they become proper blood cells, what they do is they come down and start swimming inside this what? Inside these plasma. So all the blood cells are suspended inside the what now, guys? Inside the plasma. So together with the plasma and the blood cells, that is why we have the what? That is where we have the blood. As simple as that. Now, the question is, if the blood is made up of plasma, which we call this fluid, just like a river, where all these blood cells are swimming, and the color of this plasma is what? Is yellowish. Why is the blood reddish? The answer is not far-fetched. It is because the redness, the bright red color of the blood, is actually acclimatized, is actually linked, associated, connected with the color of the red blood cell. As simple as that. Now, you see, if we say the blood has its own components, not to stress it too much, you can put that in somewhere in your notes. The blood is made up of plasma and what? And blood cells. Plasma is 55%, the blood cells, they are 45%. So about the percentage and what they divide into, we are going to be bringing them one after the other in subsequent lectures. So, and the fact is, we've done this before on our channel. You can go back and check our blood. You can learn about some stuff, but it won't be as deep as this, simply because we are moving into research and we cannot still rely on our year 1 day's blood. That is the reason why we have to come down into this blood first. Now that we are done with this introduction, I would like to add something else. I told you that the hemocytoblast is found in what? In bones. And the point is, I use a typical example of a long bone here. The fact is, production of production of blood cells generally, that is hemocytoblast, where we can find it, is not only in the glomerulus, not only in the femur. Yes, they are found generally in the long bones, good. But apart from that, hemopoiesis, which is blood production, it can also occur in the exoskeleton generally. So, exoskeleton, remember, the exoskeleton includes the skull. It means the skull can perform the function of hemopoiesis as well. So, things like the ribs, things like the sternum itself, things like the vertebra. So, then your femur, all these your long bones and short, long bones. But the point, the reason I'm doing this is because in an objective question, they can actually ask you, so which of the following, which of the following bones can perform the function of hemopoiesis? Or hemopoiesis occurs in which of the following bones? So, once you find any of these guys in the exoskeleton, that is your correct answer. And when you want to be stubby, when objective gets tricky, they add like B and C only, A and D only, A, B, C and D, all those kind of things. But once you know that exoskeleton generally, they used to form the what? They used to form the blood. You will know that the little perpendicular the femur and other long bones in the body. As simple as that. So guys, in the next class, we're going to be talking about the red blood cells, because I want us to start the blood disorders with anemia. So, in our next class, we'll be talking about the production of red blood cells. And until then, guys, I wish you the very best.